When I was growing up, I was a big church goer. I loved going to the church and praising Jesus. In black church, you'd have the big lady with the hat going crazy. Oh yeah, feeling the love of Jesus in the body. And I loved going there. It made me feel excited to wake up in the morning and eat breakfast. I usually have a bagel with some peanut butter on it, maybe some banana slices. That hit crazy. I was having a good time. When one day, a guy came up to me and said, "Hey, can I tell you something? You want to listen to a sinner real fast?" And I was young, but I was practicing to be a youth pastor, so I imagined that he knew that I was hanging out with the pastor that much. So I said, "Sure, let's have a conversation." He said, "I've committed a grave sin." I said, "It's okay. All is forgiven in the eyes of the Lord. Please tell me what you've done." I was curious. I didn't know. Basically a confessional, despite the fact that I was not practicing for confessionals. I didn't know what he was going to tell me. Was he going to tell me that he perhaps overdrafted his credit card? Oh. Maybe he beat his son. Oh. Maybe he beat his meat. Oh, I don't know what it was. I have no clue what it could possibly be. But he said, "I've been dabbling in the milk." Oh, interracial. Oh, you hate to see it. Oh, dabbling in the milk. Oh, he's been messing with dairy cows. I didn't know what that meant. But I did know we had 3 white families in the church. And all the white families had very nice young children. And I was very excited to figure out which wife he was sleeping. I was like, oh, who's he with? Whose family we gonna ostracize? Who we gonna make white people feel interestingly weird? It's gonna be great. I love making white people feel uncomfortable. That's why I make them say the N-word all the time. It's a good thing to feel. And then he said, "She's a bit younger." And I said, "Bit younger?" Then my Carmen Sandiego senses popped up. My Sherlock Homeboy senses activated. How much younger are we talking? Now this man is 35 years old. And I said, "All right, how much younger are we talking?" He said the 2 numbers I feared the worst. 1 and 4. 14. I said, 14? What? I was baffled. I was gobbledygook. I was befuddled. I didn't know what he was talking about. I said, "So you've been laying betwixt the sheets with a 14-year-old? He said, "I have." I said, "You have? Okay. All right. Okay." I said, I really don't know what to do for you here. This isn't about God. I gotta call the cops. This is really bad." He said, "I think I'm gonna tell the church next Sunday." So I said, "Okay." So I'm practicing, I'm hyping up, getting ready for the cops to get pulled up. I'm ready for this. I'm like, oh yeah, church and the cops, 2 C's back to back. Love to see it. 3rd letter of the alphabet, back to back, 2 C, church cop, boom. Gonna send that man right to prison. It's gonna be beautiful. I love to see it. I could not have suspected what happens next. You could have told me this. You could have told me you could see premonitions. You could have said you activated your 3rd eye and was able to see the future. I would have never been able to fathom what happened next. He says, "I'd like to confess to a sin." He gets to the podium. He's not the pastor. He's a regular member of the congregation. The pastor allowed him to get up there and says, "Big child, say what you gotta say. Go ahead." Everybody is, fanning and everything. And he says it like a speech that Martin Luther King gave. A lot of fervor, a lot of charisma. He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead, talk. I committed a grave sin." "Oh, yes you have, yes you have, yes you have." Everybody agreeing and said, "I have committed adultery. I didn't know he had a wife. This was information I was not privy to. I didn't know this was information that was being afoot. Not only does he have a wife, his wife is pregnant." And he said, "I have committed adultery." I'm looking around like, is anybody going to say something? Everybody got real quiet. They said, "But God has guided me correctly." And then they start saying, amen. I said, oh, he's using church. He's using church as a way to make this lighten the blow. I can feel it. He's using church as a way to lighten the blow. He said, "Now she was younger, much younger than me." And then one old lady said, "How old?" And he said, "That's not important." Now I feel like that's the most important piece to this whole puzzle. I feel like that is the most important piece of this whole puzzle. So using all the gumption inside of my chest, using every wind bellow going through my body, all the gumption in my lungs, I said, 14. I've never heard a collective gasp in my life. I thought this was only in movies. Everybody said, "What? Whoa, hold on." One dude got up and said, "What?" He got mad. He just got mad. He dropped all the church mumbo jumbo and got mad. And he said, "Okay, she may have been that age. May? May is a month. This is a definitive fact. This is exactly what you told me. I went up there. I said, nope, you definitely told me you lay betwixt the sheets with a 14-year-old. That's what you told me. She's in this very room right now. The Caucasian girl in the corner. The white family stayed in the back. And everybody was thinking it was a little black girl. They were grabbing the children, saying, was it true? They was all asking. You hear the murmurs throughout the congregation. And I said, it was a white woman. A girl more so. He began to break down and start shaking, having a panic attack up there. I pushed him off the podium and I said, hey, this man deserves to go to jail and prison for life. This man is evil. He is disgusting. The pastor stopped me and said, hold on now. Let's let the girl speak. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And this was 12 years ago. Things have changed now. But 12 years ago, this happened and it messed me up deeply. They had the little white girl come up. She walks ever so slowly up to the podium. She begins to explain her case. And I can tell she's been gaslit by the black guy. I can tell. Because by all means, she begins to explain the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life. She says, I seduced him with my unholy temptations. I seduced him in a way that is unjust and unbefitting of a young woman such as myself. And I said, what? Hold on. This isn't your fault. It's an older man. And everybody said, amen. I was ready to unload a mountain of TNT inside of this church. I was so angry. I've never been so agitated in my entire life. I was so angry that I clenched my fist so hard, my middle nail came all the way up. I was that angry. The pastor said, do you forgive him? And the black man, crying, having a panic attack, the 14-year-old said, I do forgive him. Because he is the father of my child. This 35-year-old man got a 14-year-old pregnant. This information rattled me. Everybody starts clapping. Maybe it was mob mentality. I do not know why. I do not know what was going on. I felt like I was in spiritual psychosis at this exact moment. I don't know. It felt like I was a part of a cult. No idea what was happening. And the parents in the background of the little Caucasian woman, they were clapping and cheering. And the dad was disappointed, but the mom was crying and clapping. I didn't know what was going on. I felt like I was in a fever dream. This messed me up so much. And then the service went on as usual. Everything happened after church. The dude came up to me and said, you didn't have to tell everybody that, man. Thankfully it worked out. I said, I'm going to put you in the furthest hole in the ground. I'm going to make sure the light of day, the light of the sun never graces your skin in any capacity. You have wasted my time. You have wasted that little girl's life. You have destroyed so much in this lifetime. I am viciously upset. And this is the worst part about the whole thing. Parents didn't press charges. I called the cops. Cops didn't do anything because there was no, here, get this, there was no proof yet. Because the baby was still in the stomach, there was no proof of anything yet. Nothing, no proof. Baby was born. She was 15 when the baby was born. Baby was born, she became mother to a black child. And he was a horrible father. You know what he ended up doing? He got kicked out the server. Not out the church. He got kicked out the server forever. Gone forever. His face met the pavement is what happened. He couldn't live with the guilt and shame. That child does not have a dad now. There's no good ending to this story. Not at all. I know I say a few jokes during this, but I need to explain this traumatic event to somebody, and I have nobody else to explain this to, and this has been living with me for 12 years. This hurts to know and have the information about. You know what happened to that church? It got closed down. It was one of those first churches of God. That's what happened. It was in Toledo, Ohio. This didn't get reported on the news. It didn't get reported to anybody. Only the people in that church know about the situation, and I hope somebody finds that man's grave and beats up the headstone. I don't know what happened. It just messes me up to know that person, he should be rotting in the furthest prison. He took the easy way out. Is what he did. I'm upset. And I'm angry. Still, to this day. I hope that child is fine. I didn't check up on the child. Child should be about 13 or something of that nature, if I'm doing math correctly. That's messy. That's real messy.